If you are a PT or a coach and spend a lot of your time guessing around the shoulder, your clients can tell, even if they are too polite to say it. The shoulder is probably one of the most asked about joints in the gym, and it's the one that often personal training qualifications usually cover in about 2 slides. That gap is the one no one talks about, so that is what we are going to talk about today. I'm Tim Stevenson. I run Dynamic Shoulders, where we rebuild injured shoulders so active and athletic people can live, train and compete without pain and with confidence. I've been coaching in elite sports since 2008, and I've been a shoulder specialist for the last 5 years. Now here's a truth that I want to start with. The gap between what your clients ask you and what you were taught is not a personal failing. The qualification you took was never designed to make you a shoulder specialist. So the way that most coaches fill this gap is they pull drills off Instagram, default to banned pull-aparts or quietly modify a program, hoping that the problem goes away. And I'd like to tell you that it works until it doesn't. Honestly, I'm more confident that that doesn't work at all. So here are 7 things most coaches don't know about the shoulder and probably haven't felt safe asking. Number 1, tight. This is the most overused word in gym shoulder talk. A client who comes in and says their shoulder is tight, they can't get into overhead positions, the first instinct, almost universally, more mobility work. Stretch it, smash it, pneumatic drill it with a Theragun. Here's what's actually happening most of the time. A shoulder that doesn't want to go overhead is usually not tight. It's most likely protecting itself. The body protects what it doesn't trust. And when you stretch a shoulder that's protecting itself, you are not going to unlock anything. All you're going to do is force it into a position that it doesn't want to go to. The answer, almost always, is stability and load, not mobility. And that's a complete reversal of what most PTs are taught to do. And that's why it's lesson number 1. Number 2, the rotator cuff is a dynamic stabilizing system. It's designed to handle real load through real ranges of motion. Your client's cuff is working when they carry shopping, when they reach overhead in the kitchen, when they pick up their kids. Treating it like 4 little muscles that you activate with a yellow TheraBand at the start of every session misses the point entirely. It's boring for your client, they disengage, and more importantly, it's not actually preparing the cuff to do its job, which is to stabilize a loaded joint through complex movements. The rotator cuff is not a band pull-apart problem, but if it's not functioning properly, it becomes an everything kind of problem, because the whole shoulder falls apart without it. Number 3, pain does not equal damage, but no pain doesn't mean ready to load. These are 2 of the most expensive misunderstandings in personal training, and they cause problems in opposite directions. Misunderstanding 1, the client has pain, so we avoid the movement entirely. They stop pressing overhead for 6 months, their shoulder gets weaker, the surrounding tissues decondition, and now they've got a worse problem than what they started with. Misunderstanding number 2, the client gets cleared by their physio, pain-free, green light. So they walk back into the gym and start bench pressing under your supervision the same week they got discharged. And inevitably after a while it goes wrong. The space between pain-free and ready to bench press is way bigger than what most people think. That space is exactly where you're supposed to live to make informed and educated coaching decisions. If you can't bridge it, your client is either avoiding training they should be doing or doing training that they aren't ready for. There's no third option. Well, there is actually, there's one, and that's becoming the coach who knows how to bridge the gap. Number 4, you can't fix a shoulder with shoulder exercises. This one will blow your mind, but the shoulder doesn't work in isolation. It transmits force from the ground through the legs, the trunk, the spine, the scapula, and out through the arm. In an athletic context, the shoulder's job often isn't to generate force. Its job is to transfer it, which means if you've got a stiff T-spine, a scapula that's not moving particularly well, weak hips, poor core function, the shoulder is going to try and pick up the slack, and it often pays the price. Most shoulder rehab content online ignores this entirely, which is why most shoulder rehab doesn't work. We need to think about training other things around the shoulder in order to get a shoulder to perform well. And if we're missing that, then we're a long way from the full picture. Number 5, the red flags that you should actually recognize. Unremitting night pain, significant loss of active range of motion, a history of dislocation, numbness, tingling, or referred pain down the arm. These are signs that say this is not a coaching problem, this is a medical problem. And the right move here is to refer. Knowing what these mean is not above your pay grade. It is your pay grade. It's a difference between professional coaching and guessing from a position of authority. And here's what most coaches get wrong on the other side. They go and over-refer. They refer everything just to be safe. Send every shoulder twinge to the physio. It's the, I don't do pain, that's someone else's problem attitude. You let responsibility ricochet and your client just goes back to bench pressing on Monday anyway. You've removed yourself from the only position that could actually help. The skill isn't refer or don't, the skill is knowing which case is which. Number 6, instability is not one thing. This is one of the biggest blind spots I see. Hyperlaxity is not the same as a subluxation. Subluxation is not the same as a full dislocation. A full dislocation is not the same as a post-surgical shoulder. Different problems, different timelines, different training responses, different progressions required. If you treat them all the same, give them all the same band routine, the same scap retractions, the same generic stability work, you'll make some of those clients better and some of them will get worse. And you won't necessarily know which is which until something goes wrong. If there is one shoulder presentation I never mess about with, it's shoulder instability. You know why? Well, before I was a shoulder specialist, I was a rugby player with 6 shoulder dislocations and 2 surgeries. I have lived this problem personally, and it is not one that we take lightly. Number 7, and this is the most important one, you are already the person that they trust. Your clients will ask you questions before they ask their GP, before they book in to see a physio, maybe even before they ask ChatGPT. That's not a burden, that makes you the most valuable link in the chain. You see them 3 times a week. The physio, if they're lucky, might see them every 2 weeks. With the right knowledge, you can be the most influential person in their recovery by a long way. The point of all this is not to make you scared of shoulders, it's to make you good at them. One last thing before we wrap this up. Most coaches treat scope of practice like 2 cliff edges separated by a crevasse. Coaching on one side, clinical on the other, don't cross between the 2. On one side, what we've got is broken. Go to the physio, you've got no choice. On the other, fully fit, keep pushing. But that's not really how it works in real life. In real life, there's a bridge. Coaching's at one end, clinical's on the other, but the bridge is where most of your work happens. The bridge represents compromised but not entirely broken. That's where a lot of people spend a lot of time. What separates a good PT from a guessing one is knowing where on the bridge each case sits and what the right action is for that particular person. That's a skill which is learnable. Most coaches just haven't been shown how. That's why I'm running the Shoulder Reconditioning Method workshop with the PFCA. Thursday, 14th of May 2026, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the brand new PFCA HQ in Altrincham. It's $249 for the day. It's a one-day hands-on workshop in the PFCA's purpose-built coaching space, which is beautiful. You'll assess real shoulders, interpret real cases, and make real programming decisions. You are going to walk out being able to understand the root cause of a shoulder problem and not just get confused by the symptoms. You'll stop second guessing yourself on whether to coach a problem or refer it. You'll be able to take a client through a progressive methodology to get them back to athletic performance, and you're going to have a ton of tools that you can use the following day straight away with your clients. If you want a checklist, this is not for you. If you want to understand the why behind the what, then we'll see you there. The link is in the description. If you are tired of guessing, then this is the day to stop. If you got something out of this video, please drop a comment with the one of these 7 things that landed the hardest for you. I'll read them. And whilst you're there, if you could like, subscribe, do all that stuff, we'd appreciate it. And we'll see you on the 14th.